the most misunderstood topics in wellness. And in this video, I'm going to explain why. And if you watch to the end, I'll share with you the most optimal pHs for your urine and saliva, so you can gauge whether your body is in balance. Before I move on, though, just think about, well, what do we mean by pH? What does it represent in the body? How does it impact on our body? And I want you to think about this. pH essentially is a measurement of the degree of resistance to the flow of energy. Wow, what does that mean? Well, the more alkaline the environment, the more resistance to the flow of energy. The more more acidic the environment, the less resistance. So energy flows much faster in an acidic environment than it does an alkaline environment. When I say acidic and alkaline, I'm talking about over acidic and over alkaline. This is why alkalize causes so many problems, because what we're doing is actually resisting the flow of energy in the body and having a big impact on all the electromagnetic forces in our body, which are critical for our body to actually run properly and do the job of healing. Okay. So how do we measure pH? Well, when I say how do we measure pH, how do we gauge our balance? And we do that by measuring our urine and saliva pH. Our urine pH needs to be between 5.5 and 6. Our saliva pH needs to be between 6.5 and 7. Now, when I talk to some people about this, they say, Mark, I'm sure everybody says it's quite common. Our pH of our urine needs to be 7, and our saliva around about 7. And if this was the case, well, there wouldn't be much happening in the body. Why am I saying that? Well, to think about urine pH. Urine pH, when you're measuring urine pH, what's in urine? It's in waste, it's toxins, it's acidic, it's acids. It's what the body's getting rid of. So we expect that to be quite acidic. And it needs to be more acidic than saliva, because saliva is what the body's holding on to. The saliva, the body holds on to the good stuff. The urine gets rid of the bad stuff. And if we're too close in regards to the spread, so the spread needs to be between 5.5 and 6, 6.5 and 7 for saliva. When we have that spread, we've got a good gauge that our body's actually doing its job of metabolizing it, and you're getting a lot of metabolic waste out of the body, and the body's holding on to some of the good stuff. As they start to come together, as the saliva comes down and the urine comes up, it's a sign that, well, there isn't much going on, and that's when we're more in an anabolic phase. An anabolic phase is when our cell membranes close down and there's not much going on. It's a nighttime phase. We're not metabolizing. We're rebuilding and we're repairing. So I would love you to try this, an exercise I'd love you to buy some pH strips, and when you buy some pH strips, make sure you have some pretty narrow increments. So that you can really gauge. There's a massive big difference between 5.5 and 6. There's a big difference. Okay, it's tenfold. And I'd love you to start getting into the habit of on a regular basis measuring your pHs, measuring your urine and measuring your saliva, especially if you're going through some challenges with your health, and sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel bad. I would love you to start measuring your pHs and understanding and getting a grip of the patterns that come up. Okay, because when we start to fill off, our energy starts to fill off, even of our emotional energy, our mental energy, our physical energy, I can guarantee you will find the pHs are out of balance. Okay, now what you need to get them into balance, well, that's another matter, of course. But just by doing this, just by following this exercise, you'll start to get a bit of a feel for how your body's flowing, and what your pHs are when you feel bad, and what your pHs are when you feel good. They will be different. Okay? How we experience our world, how we feel, our energy, our mental energy, our clarity, it's all a reflection of internal chemistry. If our internal chemistry is out of whack, and pHs is one of them, well, we're going to have an out of whack body, energy, clarity, everything. Okay, and you'll start to see, if you start doing this, if you start taking these, get used to start measuring these pHs, you'll start to feel, well, you'll get a feeling for, wow, you know what, when I'm feeling really good, this is my pH pattern. When I'm feeling really bad, this is my pH pattern. Now I have some clues as to what do I need to do to fix how I feel, to fix my energy, to have more clarity, to be more centered. Okay? This is what I do with my coaching programs. We do this all the time. We track the pHs, and we correspond that with all the other biomarkers that we're measuring through the program. And as the pHs change, everything changes. As pH starts to come into balance, the body starts to come into balance. And I've seen this thousands of times. I've seen the patterns, and it's very, very powerful. Okay, optimal pHs. If I was to say, if you were to ask, well, what's the most optimal? Now I'm generalizing here, right? There's a little bit of variation, a tiny bit of variation, and you're only going to know that by measuring your pHs and against how you feel. Saliva pH 5. We need to be in the brackets between 5.5 and 6, but the ultimate pH of urine needs to be around about 5.7 and 5.8. Saliva. Remember, saliva needs to be between 6.5 and 7. Optimal around about 6.8. I can guarantee you, if you're struggling with your health and you can get your pHs into that range, you will start to feel better because everything is working better. Okay? All the electromagnetic forces in the body will be working better. You'll be assimilating more minerals because minerals are assimilated through electromagnetic forces. You're going to have more energy flow, and your body's going to have more potential to heal. Give it a shot. Let me know how you go. You have a good day.